Let's see if we can change some minds again tonight, Mia. What's up last on the low?
Well, the last thing we're going to cover today is computer models of civilization offering routes to ending global warming. Computer simulations of the world economy scientists are using have created a path to cut greenhouse gas emissions to zero in 40 years. These simulations are called integrated assessment models. There are half a dozen major versions of them, 4 developed in Europe, 1 in Japan, and 1 in the US, at Pacific Northwest National Laboratory. And each of these models starts with data about current sources of greenhouse gas emissions, include cars and buses, auto rickshaws, airplanes, power plants, home furnaces, and rice paddies, and also include assumptions about international trade, prices, and the cost of new technologies as examples. Then the scientists force their virtual worlds to change course by introducing limits on greenhouse gas emissions. The models then try to satisfy that requirement in the most cost-effective way, as long as it's technologically feasible and doesn't run up against limits like the supply of land or other natural resources. The model found a way to meet that target, at least in scenarios where world governments were inclined to cooperate in meeting their Paris commitments. Different models using different assumptions arrive at contrasting visions of the future world, but they're all dramatically different from the situation today.
Let's talk about the models, how they actually set these things up. It says different models using different assumptions arrive at contrasting visions of the future world, but they're all dramatically different from the situation today. Some models show people responding to higher energy prices or government regulations by changing their lifestyles. They move to more energy-saving houses and give up their cars in favor of newer and better kind of public transit. In addition to traditional bus lines, autonomous vehicles respond like Uber, taking people they need to go. Other scenarios show people still use plenty of energy, which in turn requires a huge boost in production of clean electricity. And it would mean 10 to 20 times more land covered with solar and wind farms compared to now, plus more power plants burning wood and other biofuels outfitted with equipment to capture and store the carbon dioxide that's released. And it says that does not account for political obstruction and human preferences, which is we see how that goes. But people may just want to drive an expensive car rather than take public transit, even when the models say that's the choice isn't economically rational. But the models also can be far too pessimistic, in particular about technological innovations. 10 years ago, Van Vuren says they never anticipated the rise of cheap solar power. And here's a quote: "We have been in the extremely fortunate situation that the cost of renewables has declined rapidly in the past decade." So that's the thing. This is based upon all countries getting on board with the Paris Accord and constantly driving down their emissions. And our government is doing its part in changing regulations on emissions with vehicles. President Biden actually has that thing about going 100% electric by 2030 for all government vehicles. That's why Nancy Pelosi bought millions of dollars in stock of Tesla. Insider trading much? Yes. But this shows that we can legislate better, I guess you'd say better incentives. This is just showing that it is possible in 40 years to significantly decrease it, if not go down to zero. I would just like to see us commit more money into R&D, research and development for carbon capturing technology, like an air filter, if you will. That's still being worked on. I know MIT's got this thing going on about that, where they're trying to have like a literal air filter with fans, and it just sucks the air in and captures carbon, which is pretty cool to think about. But we also got to consider that the more we go online with work, the more we go online with entertainment and industries, a higher demand for electricity. Also with I think they're not considering in this is cryptocurrency mining. If that keeps going up, man, the demand's going to significantly skyrocket. So that's something I don't think they included, but it'd be cool to see what they think about that too, because Bitcoin is very, very energy dependent.
That's true. It might be included in trade. I think that it's important, though, that we have just at least the knowledge that there is a path, so that way when you talk to somebody and they say there's not really even a point at this stage, we're past the tipping point, you can be like, that's not true. There's something to fight for. It may be unlikely, but there is a path out of this, and we need to do everything we can to get as close to that path as we can, as quickly as we can. So there's a reason to fight, and that is hope, and hope is good.
Well, and technological advances are astronomical when they happen. So if they ever figure out how to get like these, I guess they're called like these little personal drones. Instead of taking a taxi in a car, you go up and over with a drone rooftop to rooftop. In LA, they have like a people that are doing these things in Japan and Tokyo and LA. They're trying to work on these human drones that you get in it and it takes like up to 4 people, and it has these little powerful motors, and you go up and over and you land it on a different rooftop instead of going through the streets.
Oh gosh.
If that stuff takes off, which isn't going to happen quick, right? So a decade's a long time now, though. A lot of shit happens in a decade. A lot of shit happens in 1 year. So
just think of the parkour.
Yeah. But if we had a commitment in this country to electric high-speed rails, that's a major change. Less flights in the air, which is very, very fuel intensive, a flight. Same thing with electric propulsion for airplanes. That's another one. They haven't quite figured that out because they're quite heavy. But it is possible. And I think this is at least an indication that there is time. We can do it, but we just can't keep acting like it's not there. There is a tipping point, like you're saying, where things are bad right now. There's record fires in Central Africa right now that no one's even talking about. The Amazon's on fire. The Pacific Northwest is on fire. Idaho is on fire. I mean, come on, man. These are traditionally places that are so lush and green and full of moisture that there is no fires. And now it's so dry because you had this record heat in the Northwest where you had like 70-something people dying from heat exhaustion, heat stroke or whatnot, and dehydration, where 110 degrees in Portland does not go okay. In Seattle, Washington, not okay. People are dying. And I think it's in Canada, they're losing their permafrost.
Yeah, there was another article that I was reading on the political end of this, where even the Republican Party is pretty much being like, well, yeah, I guess climate change is real. Their new, well, let's still not do anything about it thing, though, is it would be too harmful to the economy to do anything about it because, the planet warming up to the point where humans are dying and people are suffering is certainly less important than making sure that Wall Street is, prioritized.
What kills me is people live in like Louisiana and Florida, coastal cities of the South, should be significantly concerned about rising sea levels. If the sea levels rise by 2 feet, this many feet, guys, Florida is just a marsh. The entire state is a bog, a saltwater bog. It's over. The whole state's underwater.
I feel so terrible for Florida. Like, the meme makes it like so that people hear the word Florida and they laugh. But if you think about what the people are going through down there, our held hostage fellow progressives, the people trying to change things there, the hell they're going through, it's really, and the children who don't have a choice because their parents live there and just aren't caring.
Mm-hmm.
That's the part that, like, Florida's a joke, but it's not a joke. It's not funny.
Well, and you have, I can't remember where it was, in Texas, it said that there's a hospital just went public and said, listen, guys, we have 0 beds for pediatric ICUs, period. If your child has a heart condition, they have to wait for another kid to die. Literally, he said that. Like, that's how serious this is. And yet, my freedom, man, fuck your so-called freedom, man. Your so-called fake freedom, your fake patriotic bullshit is over. This phony baloney freedom. It just, people hide behind that term so much. When we have the freedom, you have the freedom, sure, but you don't have the right. You don't have the right to endanger other people and private businesses. You don't have the right to endanger students and teachers and faculty at schools. You don't have that right. You have the freedom to stay your punk ass home. Do online schooling if you don't like it. Don't expect us who get vaccinated to stay home and be online. Fuck that shit. This is our country.
Yeah. As a general rule, and it doesn't like there are surely exceptions to it, but the way I try to analyze things, know what's the right thing to do and what's the wrong thing to do. What has the most potential for good with the least potential for harm?
Mm-hmm.
The least potential for harm, wearing a mask. That's not going to hurt me.
Mm-hmm.
It's not going to hurt me much. But even if I were wrong, it's not going to hurt anybody else much either for me to wear the mask.
Right.
But if I am wrong and I'm an anti-masker, me choosing to go ahead and protect other people anyways is going to have a maximum amount of potential good. So,
and these people are endangering your son directly.
Mm-hmm.
And people like you in your situation, period. They're endangering people like you and your family directly for their phony freedoms. They can kiss my fucking ass. I'm tired of it. I'm tired of being nice. I'm trying to reach across the aisle. Fuck that. It's over. You motherfuckers have just been excommunicated, as far as I'm concerned, from civilized humans, because you're a Neanderthal at best. I mean, you've got to wake the fuck up. Trump is not president still. Sorry. Friday the 13th came and went. Pillow guy.
Even when he was president, this still wasn't okay.
That's right. That's
okay.
Yeah. And Biden is your president. I don't tell you people, man. This is the reality we live in. There's some people just deny reality for their own personal feelings of freedom, their illusion of freedom. It's an illusion, man.
Completely unrelated.
People. What's that?
Completely unrelated to the COVID stuff. I didn't want to bring it up because it's just like a little bit of fear mongering to an extent.
Mm-hmm.
But like DHS is Department of Homeland Security, not Department of Human Services, is on alert about the potential for mask mandates to start causing Trump violence to start reemerging. They need to get over it at some point and stop making everybody step on eggshells around them for fear of their mental health while we're all about ready to crack too.
Yeah. I don't know, guys. I don't know what else to do with this, because we have people getting fake vaccine cards. We have people getting fake masks. And then at the same time saying that global warming is fake when a third of the planet is on fire. Literally in the places that has never been before. Record heat, record flooding, record fires. Denial of reality is just, I don't know what to tell you, man. I don't know how you're going to make it, but you're not going to make it very long. So it's just disappointing. Greatest country on this planet, my ass.
Has not been that for quite some time.
No, it has not.
Like I was 14 or 15 having people tell me that and being like, according to what measures? I'm 37 now. That's a couple decades of according to what?
Yeah, and who is it great to and for? So it's not all encompassing. But yeah, I don't know, guys. Just let us know what you think about this in the comments section, man. This was a real bummer. We can change this thing. Just we have to have the political fortitude to do it and demand better of our elected officials. So if you have an elected official in your district that you live in that's a science denier, get them out. Period. You can't kick that can down the road no more, man. You got to get them out. You got to get out there, knock on doors, do whatever you got to do. Get them the hell out.
Even with local people like that you don't think have a huge effect on things. Yeah. 10 years down the road, that person qualifies to run for something in Congress.
Yep.
Because now they've got experience. Remember why they wouldn't let Andrew Yang in?
Yeah.
He doesn't have the experience. Some cruddy anti-masker gets into city council right now, does that for 2-3 years, and then runs for senator.
Yep, runs for a county board position, then a state, then a senate. That we got to cut this thing off at the start. You know, so just get out there, guys, do what you can, and make sure we don't have ignorant ass publicly elected officials more than we already do. We've already got enough of them to really put a hindrance on advancing this country in the right direction, flat out. But yeah, guys, let us know what you think about that in the comments section. While you're here, of course, give the video a like, hit subscribe, ring notification bells for upcoming videos. And thanks for joining us. We'll see you guys next time. And like always, go read a book. Cool.